Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the FireStorm podcast. Since it went so well last time, we've decided to review the first half of ReZero Season 2, because everyone loved our review of Season 1, and Season 2 Part 1 has just finished airing. If you didn't know, it was split into two halves thanks to fucking COVID. So, yeah.
I'm sure I don't really remember the review we did of the first season, but I'm sure we gave some very intelligent opinions, and we're back by popular demand to give more very intelligent opinions about ReZero, so you're welcome.
I remember we gave some intelligent opinions and then some theories towards the end, which were completely fucking wrong.
What else is new?
I remember hearing about, like, it was like some lines in season 1 about how, like, the Witch of Envy devoured all the other witches, and I thought, oh, okay, so that's the only witch left. But no.
No, definitely not.
As demonstrated in this season, they're all here. They're all around. They're kicking.
Everyone is here. Like Smash Ultimate.
Yeah, except for Rem.
Well, but nobody liked her anyway.
You just insulted 70% of the fan base.
I did.
I hope you realize this.
I'm sorry, but not really. It was funny.
For all those, if you're here without actually seeing ReZero Season 2,
please don't listen to this. Yeah, just absolutely. This ReZero Season 2 is, especially, well, at least this first half, is something you absolutely need to experience for yourself. Like 100%. Like, because there's not, to be perfectly honest with you, I've seen a lot of anime, right? I update my anime list profile whenever I get a new anime. I've got, like, I'm past 100 at this point. I've seen a lot of anime, and there's not a lot of shows that get me to react quite as, like, instinctively as ReZero does. Like, I react to things that happen, like, in, like, crazy. Like, it makes me actually shocked and, like, scared and horrified, and it makes me feel things, and there's not a lot of shows that do that. So if you haven't seen ReZero or you haven't seen the second season, please watch it for yourself. Absolutely. Like, you need to experience this.
I completely agree. Like, it gives me, it is one of those shows that gives you, like,
the chills, straight up.
Like a physical reaction
to
something. Whereas, like, some shows can just make you chuckle, and some shows are like, yeah, that's pretty cool. This makes you go, holy fuck, what just happened? Like, this actually gives you a freaking reaction. So, it's, definitely worth a watch. If you're here without seeing ReZero Season 1 or any of Season 2, then, like, why are you here?
What are you doing? Do you really just like our dick jokes that much?
We got them loaded up, and I'm going to unload them on your mother's face. So get fucking ready, guys. We're here with a review of ReZero Season 2. Now, we're going to be doing this differently because, like, in past anime reviews, like, I've gone in depth of every episode, and it's ended up going for way too long. So we're here to just discuss, talk about our favorite episodes, talk about our favorite bits, and get into it.
Pull it up so I can look over it again.
It's got somewhat of a synopsis on Wikipedia. A few episodes are missing, but you know what? It's all mostly there.
It's fun.
So it continues off in, I believe I don't know if they retconned a lot with the movie and OVA. I know they might have changed one or two minor details.
Yeah.
This kicks off, like, directly after the movie and OVA, and I believe it was, I think it was the movie that had, like, an end scene where it cuts back to normal time, and it's Subaru, like, basically telling Amelia that, oh, hey, Rem admits that that she likes me, and then that's when Amelia goes, wait, who's Rem?
Wasn't that at the end of the director's cut?
Oh, no, you're right. It was at the end of the director's cut. That's right. Yeah. They did the director's cut, the OVA, and the movie. That's right.
Yeah.
Forget about that. They did a lot in between the Season 1 and Season 2.
Yeah.
You're right. It was interesting. See, the first episode was mostly just, like, Subaru coming to grips with, like, wait, where the fuck is Rem? Why doesn't anyone remember Rem?
Yeah.
And he was And like he even kills himself. Like I know he's like jumped off a cliff and everything before, but he actually to try and fix it, he stabs himself in the throat, and it's brutal. Like it literally, season 2 kicks off so fucking hard. Yeah. Not only by like taking away a character that people love, taking away, they put her in a coma, and make it so no one except Subaru remembers her.
Temporary coma, it's fine.
Temporary, yeah. You know, have you ever been in a coma? It's just everyone forgets. Everyone forgets you exist.
Anyone been there? Oh man,
everyone forgets you exist. It's so good.
Wild.
He's basically trying to go back. He can't go back, and
his checkpoint is too soon. He can't fix that mistake. It's not like, I mean, at least it's not like someone died kind of mistake. She's still alive, but she's just like she just doesn't exist, I guess, in this timeline.
What was the reason that everyone forgot Rem, and also why Krush, that green-haired lady, she lost her memories as well? Like, wasn't it something about like the white whale devouring
the
their
fog
memories?
or something, in the fog that the white whale creates or something like that? It like the brain fart. Sorry, it like erases your memories or something like that.
So.
I think isn't the reason why no one can remember Rem like because he didn't mention her. Subaru didn't mention her leading up to that point, something like that.
Was that it? Was that because like?
Because it seems weird that just her existence just disappeared in this timeline.
It was something in regards to like if you're devoured. Like I think they did explain it later on. Like if you're devoured by the fog, then everyone's memories of you.
Yeah.
I believe
something like that. You could be right. Yeah. I have no idea. To be fair.
No. For context, we watched like the first 4 or 5 episodes as they aired like months ago.
Yeah.
And then like basically dropped off and
I just like stopped watching it for some reason. I'm not sure why. I stopped watching it every week, but I caught up with the last like I think it was 8 episodes yesterday.
Same. So that's why the first half of it is kind of a bit foggy.
Yeah.
Like Rem. That's
what
can't remember.
Who's that?
Who? Anyway, I love the first episode. It brings you right back in with the whole hook of ReZero, which is
it kind of like catches
tortured.
you up with the situation up to this point. It's like a nice way to like catch you up while also continuing the story. So that's good.
Yeah, it was.
I'm still
very, very. It was very, very entertaining. It brought you back in with the hook of here's Subaru being tortured. Shit's not gonna be good for long, and it was. You know what? It was pretty good. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was a good way to get you back into the mood of ReZero. Definitely saddened by the loss of Rem. Rest in peace. You're not dead, but
rest in peace.
Rip and pepperoni.
Ripping pepperoni, ripping something.
So
I was gonna be clever there, and then I am stupid. So anyway, continue.
So, after that, we basically go back to the mansion, and there's some new maids. There is apparently...
how would I say her name without sounding Japanese? Frederica? Something like that? Frederica?
Yeah,
I don't know.
She's like a half-beast chick who's fucking...
hot,
nice, and then
she's of age, right?
I think Frederica is, and then Petra. She was one of the villagers.
She's not of age.
No, she's not. But I actually remember her from season 1. She was one of the
she
villagers.
Was in season 1. She was one of the little villagers. She has a little crush on Subaru, and it's adorable.
It is, and I completely, literally, when I first saw Frederica and Petra, I'm like, wait. Who are these? And then I actually remembered Petra. And I was like, oh, fuck, they brought it back. Isn't that nice? So, Then there's some shit about the gospel that Betelgeuse had, and
that guy.
Beatrice, and then fuck off and head to the Sanctuary, which, why do they go to the Sanctuary? Because Roswell is there?
I think something about I think the village is actually deserted and they've retreated into the Sanctuary, but they can't get out because of the barrier.
Yeah, so then they go in and Amelia's crystal goes, wow, and Amelia fucking dies. And and then he fucks off to a forest, he sees an elf, finds some ruins, and then he gets transported to the Witch of Greed's domain.
She's fucked up,
She's fucked up, and her name's Echidna. Her name is Echidna. Why? Echidna? What the fuck? Shit's an animal.
My name's Knuckles, and unlike Sonic, I don't chuckle. Unlike Sonic, I'd rather flex my muscles. I'm hard as nails. It ain't hard to tell. I'll break them down whether they solid or frail. That's all I know. Well, no, I can do more. I won't, though.
Wait, I can do more.
Unlike the rest of Independences, my first breath, feel the right, then the worst left. Something. Sorry, I was doing Knuckles rap.
That's fun,
dude.
Man.
That slaps though. Wait, I need to add that to my Spotify playlist. Hold on. Anyway, continue.
We've lost focus.
Sorry, just whenever I heard Echidna, I can only think of Knuckles. I'm sorry.
So we'll be saying Echidna a lot more.
You've got to think of Knuckles a lot more.
She do you know the way? She's pretty prominent actually.
Yeah, she is.
So they sit down for tea.
Unknown from ME.
Then.
Sorry, that's the song. Anyway, keep going. Don't mind me.
Yeah, they have like a brief chat. Echidna erases his memories of her for some reason. He wakes up.
Yeah.
Then he's attacked.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal with that is, but yes.
Yeah. Then he's attacked by Garfield, and I was literally like, "Isn't this just Garfield but in human form?" But like,
man, I wish.
Man, what the fuck?
He'd be a lot less threatening if he was.
Yeah, and we find out later on that Garfield is the half brother of Frederica, which is pretty cool. They're both.
I mean, it's not like you can't see the resemblance; it's pretty obvious.
No, it did take me a hot minute though, like because I completely forgot about Frederica.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're both demi-humans, so they can both, like, turn into fucking tigers or whatever.
And I believe that's the reason, like, I believe anyone with demi-human blood can not escape from the barrier or something like that. One of the two, like, for some reason, the villagers can't leave the barrier, which is why they have Amelia.
Yeah, that actually confused me, because it was like, I think they said, like, either you have to have mixed blood, or you can't have mixed blood.
Yeah, I'm not sure which way it is. To
attempt the trial. And, like, that did confuse me as well. So...
I think it's just you have to have the qualification. And I'm not sure how Amelia has the qualification exactly, or really how Subaru has the qualification, unless it was Echidna's doing.
Yeah, so I think they might explain it later. I'm hoping.
Maybe.
But yeah, they meet Garfield, and...
Garfield's kind of epic, aside from, like, the one time he kills Subaru, but, like, other than that, he's epic.
He was very, like, yeah, okay.
He's definitely annoying.
So the new characters, Garfield. Interesting. I'm glad, like, initially I thought, he's just gonna be this idiot brute, but he's actually rather, he knows his shit.
Yes.
And, like... what he does, it all makes sense. The one thing I do like that ReZero does is that they implement characters, and they don't make characters like one-off characters. They give every character depth.
Yeah,
which I like. So good shit. I'm glad Garfield and Frederica actually had like personality. Yeah, and one thing
about ReZero that's always kind of confused me is because Subaru restarts the same timeline a bunch of times, you get to see just about every single side of every character. You get to see them when they're really pissed. You get to see them when they're and they fear for their lives. You get to see them when they're really happy or when they're frustrated and sad or whatever. Like, you get to see every single side of every character. Like, in one timeline, Subaru and Garfield are like at least in a truce, and they're not like buddy or anything, but at least Garfield is like somewhat friendly. And then in the next, Garfield literally murders Subaru. So you get to see like every side of every character. It's like you said, they all have depth. So and it's confusing for me because they almost seem like a different character, but the reason I'm just gonna go ahead and say this because I mean we already put a spoiler warning. The reason Garfield ended up killing Subaru is because he smelled the witch of envy on him, so he thought he was a witch cultist. So it was like you get to like this is him when he's fearing for the safety of himself and all of like the villagers and stuff. That's like he's taking action into his own hands, and even though we've never seen that side of him before, like that's just what happens. Like that's the kind of person he is, and on top of being like the cool guy that we saw earlier, like that it's weird to see every like all those different sides like reacting to the same person, but it's in different timelines, so it kind of makes sense. It's just hard to wrap your head around, I guess, at least for me, but I'm stupid. So yeah. By the way, Trent, this is unrelated, but I was very proud of myself when I quote tweeted that picture of the stupid and guy who's supposed to be sane but is also stupid. I was very proud of myself for that one.
I saw that and had a good laugh. I was like, wait a minute. I saw that and I was just like, I didn't fucking do this. Wait a minute, this was Gus.
I was very proud of myself. I was like, this is exactly what it is.
This is a good one.
And for those of you who didn't see it, if you would just check our Twitter, like there's this picture of this guy. It's just like a cartoon guy. He's standing there angrily, and he's labeled stupid. And there's a guy over to the right, colored blue, and he's just looking at the red guy like disappointed. And he's labeled supposed to be the sane one, but is also stupid. And I was the red guy labeled stupid, and Trent was the blue guy labeled supposed to be the sane one, but is also stupid.
Yes, but it felt wholly accurate. Like,
very accurate.
It's so fucking funny. I did not expect that at all. So,
I don't know. I didn't even know how I found that picture, but I just was like, oh my god, this is so spot on. Anyway, back to ReZero. Sorry, brief tangent.
Good plug for our Twitter.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, that's kind of like adding to what you said about how the characters have depth. It's
yes.
kind of cool.
Yes, indeed. So, all right. Yeah. So, Garfield and Frederick are pretty interesting characters. Yeah. It's a shame that hopefully in the latter half of season 2 they actually get to meet up. That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah, and
assuming Subaru can handle literally everything that's going on, because there's a lot.
This was something I was saying earlier. I just want to see like a cut down. I want to just like see a cut down version of the actual timeline of what happens canonically, like without, because no one remembers all the shit that Subaru goes through and all the other timelines. So what's the canon timeline in which Subaru does everything, and how does he come off in that timeline? Because
yeah, you're right.
Because most of this, the first half of season 2, was the same repeat over and over and over again, with some added sprinkle of let's go back
transporting to the witch dimension,
and then transporting to the witch dimension. So like, it was very interesting. But yeah. So okay, here we go.
I was gonna say when he did the trial or whatever, because he went into the ruins where Amelia was doing the trial, and he also had the qualification to do the trial, and so he did the trial and passed it. But the trial itself was when he actually went back to Japan, but it was like in a dream or whatever.
That was the trial. Yes,
yeah, and
the trial.
he went back to his mom and dad and actually got to speak with them, and we saw them in the show. Like, that is probably one of my favorite episodes so far. Like, it was
it's
really
rare
good
for a show to do that. It's rare for like a fantasy show to do that.
Isekai, yeah. Like to just have them, because like, I mean, if you think about it, right, and you know, ReZero is definitely a show that it knows, it's very, I guess, self-aware, but like it knows it's an isekai. It knows there are fucking problems with that kind of thing. Like, if you think about it, a child disappearing out of fucking nowhere into another, another dimension or something, that's kind of fucking weird. And, he might want to talk to his family again.
It's a bit fucking weird, dude.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. So, maybe the guy wants to talk to his family again. And even though this, I don't think, it was just a dream or whatever, like, getting to see him resolve his issues with his family. Because we know that from the beginning he was like, he never went to school. He was just this shut-in kid. Getting to see him resolve those issues with his mom and dad was actually really heartwarming and sweet, because of how much Subaru's changed since he's come to this world. He was able to resolve those issues just through talking with his parents. And that's probably one of my favorite episodes so far, because it was just it was so different from everything ReZero had done up to that point, and it was just nice. Like,
it was
just parents and child talking about their problems and shit. Like, it was good. And then you got to see Echidna at the end. I might just call her Knuckles from now on.
Yeah, you got to see Knuckles in a school uniform, and it was pretty mad.
Oh yeah, I got mad turned on.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can't say it's one of my favorite episodes, but I definitely see like the appeal to it. It was really interesting because you never see that sort of shit in isekai.
Yeah.
You never see them go back to where they originally came from.
Yeah.
Except you could argue Sword Art Online, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's the only other show I've seen do something similar.
Yeah.
Also, it says here, Roswell reveals that Sanctuary's barrier keeps half-breeds in, including Amelia, and that the only way to break it is to pass a trial. Roswell attempted it, but was rejected due to him not being a half-breed. Garfield then reveals that Sanctuary's inhabitants have taken the Irem villages hostage, and blah, 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 blah. So, you have to be a half-breed to complete it. But
unless you're just Subaru.
But I think because Subaru, like, is part witch now because of his soul or whatever, like, he was allowed to enter. But that also doesn't explain why he's able to leave the barrier in order to go back to the mansion. So it's very strange. Subaru's literally just a special boy, and he can do both. So
crazy.
He goes back home for a whole episode, and it was Echidna reading his memory actually, and like making a scenario.
Yeah, like it wasn't real.
Yeah, it wasn't real, but he was pretty mad.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. It was great to see, and you can tell where Subaru gets his personality from, like how his parents
definitely
gave him his personality, and it was really, really good. Then you get to see Echidna in a school uniform, and that's when all the fan art came out, because fucking Echidna is now like #1 girl in the show.
Yeah, since Rem's not here anymore.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I'm not complaining. You won't hear me complain. She's definitely of age. She's like 400.
Definitely.
So it's not wrong to be attracted to her.
No.
Let's go.
Yeah, and then begins the process of let's repeat the same death over and over again. So,
the same timeline, yeah.
Same timeline, sorry, yeah. So, it starts off with Subaru waking up from the trial, and then Amelia waking up shortly after and freaking out, like saying...
losing her shit.
Losing her shit, asking for help from Park, saying it wasn't her, and no one knows what the fuck's going on, and Subaru comforts her. And go through this scene several times throughout the timelines, and then there's like some sort of meeting with Roswell, and he's like sus as hell. Like,
oh my god, yeah.
He's so sus. He's just kind of like, Yeah, no, look, you can tell he's starting to, like... Everyone was, like, a bit iffy about Roswell before because of, like, why he allowed
he's
to keep...
so sus. Like, even through the first season, he is so sus. Like, you just cannot trust this man at all. And I know you're trying to go in order. I'm going to mess up the flow again. At the very end, we learn that the reason he's so sus is because he sent assassins to the mansion. Because he wants to force Subaru into a corner where he can only save either the people at the mansion or the villagers, including Amelia and Ram and all those other people. So he can only save one or the other and not both sets of people. And obviously both of them are very dear to him. So
if I recall, like, he said something like he doesn't know about the time jumps, like the return by death.
Yes, but he doesn't know, but he, like, makes an assumption.
Yeah, he suspects something like that is going on, which is why Subaru is able to do everything right without any fallbacks.
Yeah, so and which is why he sent, and it's not just any assassins either. It's the Tummy Eater from, like, episode 2.
I know, the bitch Elsa that everyone thought was never gonna come back.
Yeah, she came back. And what's even more fucked up was one of the assassins ended up slaughtering the villagers, and she was one of the little kids that Subaru befriended. And she's a mob beast user. Like, she tames mob beasts and uses them to slaughter people. It is mad very fucked up. So that's why he was so sus throughout all the time Subaru met with him. But we don't learn that until, like, I think the last episode of this part.
I think so.
Which is just wild because Subaru is like, because at that point he's been through everything. Like, he's gotten to at least a point where he's steeled his resolve and been like, I am going to save people. I am going to, I'm going to love myself more. I'm going to trust myself, and I'm going to save all the people I care about. And then right after that, he's learned that this dude that he's been in cahoots with all this time is actually, like, trying to psychologically destroy him. It's very fucked up, and it leaves us in such a, well, it's a weird place, but it's a cool place to leave off this part of the season, because it
fucked me up.
Yeah, it was crazy, like, because at least because it's not a place where it's like end of the season and we don't know if there will be more, but we do know there will be more, and hopefully a resolution will come with that. So this is a very cool place to leave us for like 3 months until the next part comes out. So
January.
Yeah.
Oof.
It's crazy.
Now, that whole thing with Roswell fucked me up because, like, in season 1 with how sus he was and then keeping Ram really close, you kind of thought, oh, maybe he's plotting something. And then about him wanting to kill he wanted to kill something, and he could only do that in a position of power, which he was going to get with Amelia usurping the throne.
Yeah.
And then because
and
of
even
how
in one of the
sus
timelines, he killed both Ram and Garfield. I almost said Jackal. Sorry, that's a Fairy Tale reference. For some reason, Garfield reminds me of this dude from Fairy Tale. Anyway, the guy's name is Jackal. If you would Google him, you would know why. But he killed both of them at the same time. He even killed Ram. Like, this dude is mad sus. Like, he's not even sus anymore. He's literally like actual felon convict. Like
that fucked me up so hard when he killed Ram and Garfield, and then he's just like, I'm gonna throw Subaru out the window and feed him to some fucking rabbits.
Beat him up for like a minute or two, and then they both got eaten by the Great Rabbit. Fuck.
That animation was wonky as fuck, just him stepping on Subaru.
Yes.
It looked really fucking weird. But yeah, no, that was messed up.
Was that the same timeline where he ended up seeing the Witch of Envy and then killing himself? Was that the same timeline?
Did he end up killing himself because he saw the Witch of Envy?
Well, no, because you remember that time where he was like having that fever dream, and she was like, I love you, I love you, I love you. And then he like got caught up in this weird thing and like had to kill himself.
No, I remember that. He woke up a bit later on still in the sanctuary, and when he leaves, the whole area is surrounded by like this dark fog, and then it's the Witch of Envy roaming around, and Garfield is the only one there who's able to
No,
rescue
I'm not
him.
talking about that. I'm talking about the time where he was literally like in this black darkness, like by himself. You remember he was like in the lap of the Witch of Envy, but she looked like Amelia. Like we thought she was Amelia, but it was like the Witch of Envy, like going crazy. Because we do learn in like the second to last episode that the witch looks just like Amelia, the Witch of Envy.
Yeah.
And
Did he kill himself after that?
it was weird because you couldn't. I mean, I assumed it was him killing himself because like, but it was so weird because you couldn't tell. It was one of those things that ReZero does, like the sound effect. Like it was one of those kind of scenes, like where you like feel like you're tripping on something. He like got caught up in this weird darkness. I can't remember if it was the same timeline as where he and Roswell got eaten by the Great Rabbit or whatever. But yeah, it's either way, it was pretty fucked up. But I do remember the time when when the Witch of Envy was roaming around and he and Garfield tried to escape. It didn't work though. As you might guess.
Going back to the order, I actually wanted to bring up the one episode, I think it was The Maiden's Gospel, where he actually gets out, like, because I remember he gets out and makes it back to the mansion where it's all red and it's just Elsa there, and Elsa fucks him up.
Oh yeah.
So then the next timeline he leaves quicker, like he gets out of the sanctuary quicker to head back to the mansion where Rem, Frederica, Petra, and all that are there.
And she's already there.
Yeah, and then Elsa arrives shortly after, and it's like, what the fuck? You're not meant to be here. And it was like and it was hella sus.
Oh yeah.
And then there was some sweet bits like Petra giving him a good luck charm, which he actually somehow keeps.
Yeah.
No, he gave he got the good luck charm
before he left.
Before he left, that's right. Yeah, no, he got the good luck charm and all that, and it was pretty sweet. And then he still dies.
Yes.
And then I believe the reset happens where Garfield then is just like, bro, you smell funny. And then, like, binds him and throws him in a fucking cage. No, wait, he goes to Garfield and... Who's that chick? Who's the chick with heaps of clones? Ryuzu. Yeah, he goes to Ryuzu and Garfield and it's just like, I need help leaving. Don't tell anyone. And they're like...
Sus.
And
you smell.
Throw him in a thing.
And then Otto helps him escape. And then that's what...
See, Otto
is a champ.
Otto. I started off hating Otto just because he was like, oh, fucking pussy bitch. I hate this guy. And then the final episode, he fucking bitch slaps Subaru. Yeah. Like, get your shit together, bro. And he turns into a fucking Chad.
He is a Chad.
Otto.
He really is.
He really fucking good.
He rescues Subaru from the prison during that timeline. I mean, that's when I almost said Jackal again. Well, that's when Garfield kills Subaru and pretty much everyone. You know what? I just totally realized why I keep thinking it's Jackal. It's because they can both turn into beast forms. Yeah, there you go. Sorry, that is that a fairy tale spoiler? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
No.
Yeah, it's it was but yeah, it was crazy just seeing that side of Garfield. Bro, you are going to do something crazy because you smell like the witch, dude. I'm going to end your life, and he fucking does, bro.
He does.
But yeah, that was wild.
So
and I think
there's one point where Garfield.
What?
There's one point where Garfield ends his shit, but then...
Yeah. Is the timeline after that the one after he gets killed when he goes back to see Echidna again? I think the one after he dies to Garfield? I think.
Yeah, because it gets... the episode Friend is when Otto saves him. It's just like, bruh, you're my mate. And then the Value of Life is when they get help with Ram to flee.
Yeah.
Then... they confront Roswell about the gospel that Beatrice has.
which
That's right. I forgot. When he went back to the mansion, there was a brief scene where Beatrice saved him from Elsa.
Mm-hmm.
Then they talk about the gospel. Beatrice beats the shit out of him, and like,
well, Elsa finds her way into the library somehow.
Yeah. Then she gets in by leaving all the doors open
And kills him.
So the room can't teleport, which I thought was smart.
Very smart.
And then killed. But I actually like the development with Beatrice as well, because she's no longer just this annoying lolly. She's actually got depth as well. Like, this is the
Thank
thing.
God.
They finally gave her depth. She had a gospel, which I think he got.
She was a apostle of greed or whatever. Like, she made a contract with Echidna.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
And Echidna told her to wait to find the person.
Yeah, that person. And apparently, but what Beatrice, I think, didn't. I think the thing we were supposed to believe is that Beatrice was never told that she was to make that decision on who was that person, and Beatrice just never believed in anyone she met until Subaru. It was she just didn't believe anyone was that person until she met Subaru, when she like kind of like started maybe believing it, and then a billion times he dies or whatever. But she like breaks down crying at some point. Like, you probably know more than I do about that. Mine's a bit foggy. Yeah. It was during that like 2-episode period when he got back to the mansion. Like, the second time he gets back to the mansion, and like Frederica and I think even Petra die, and he's looking for a way out, and he ends up he goes to check on Rem, but instead he walks into Beatrice's room.
Yeah,
there's that whole spiel about the gospel and about how, like, because Roswell told him, oh, if you want Beatrice to trust you, tell her that you are that person. Mm-hmm. He hasn't actually said that yet, which is
he doesn't
interesting.
do that.
So second half of the season, maybe?
Could be.
But and then Beatrice explains what's going on, like how she does everything for her mother, and how she just wants to fucking die because she made an agreement with the Witch of Greed, and she is like internally alive or whatever, and she's like really fucking confused. And she essentially just wants to die, and I think that person in her mind is the person that will kill her.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why she believed in Subaru. And
could be.
Yeah. But then Elsa kills her in that same timeline after she slaughters Subaru.
Everyone else.
And she's just like, finally I can die, and it's really sad.
Yeah,
like, cause there was 2 points throughout the season where I felt like tearing up, and that was one of them, where Beatrice was just like losing her shit and wanted to die. It was like, that's sad as fuck. Then that's right. Oh my god, I'm reading the synopsis. It's all in the same episode. Like, when that happens, like he respawns again, like he comes back again, but then everything's covered in snow for some reason.
Yeah.
And he's just like, what is going on? And then
This is like fairly early there. Like, this is like around the halfway point.
Like episode 33/episode 8 of season 2.
Yeah.
And then he gets devoured by the rabbits. That was so fucked up, because I just remember that one rabbit, and then he loses his hand, and it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. We learn more about it. The great rabbit is the scariest fucking shit. It really is.
Rabbit.
It's so fucking scary. Like, it's like, at first it's this cute little rabbit thing, and then it fucking tears off Subaru's hand, and then it starts to get a bunch of them. Like, if you imagine that in real life, that is horrifying. Like, a giant whale is one thing, that would probably make me laugh. But a bunch of rabbits with like glowing eyes, like tearing off your limbs, that's horrifying. Like, it's not really, it's definitely not like physically terrifying, but it's like psychologically fucks with your head.
Definitely.
Which this show does a lot, by the way.
Yes.
And but that's definitely one of the more fucked up deaths, like, that he has, because he dies a lot in this 13 episodes. He dies a lot.
Just getting slowly eaten by hundreds of thousands of rabbits.
Yeah. Ooh, that was very fucked up. But yeah, and then he, on the second time he visits Echidna, he learns a little bit more about it, because he's able to call the witch of, what is it? Which witch is it?
No, actually, no, wait. It's the third time he visits Echidna.
Third
because
time.
I'm reading here, just after he gets eaten by the rabbits, he goes back to the sanctuary, but then asks to see Echidna. And then he actually gets to see Echidna again, and they have a bit of a conversation, and he actually is able to tell her that he can return by death without the witch of envy, grabbing his heart. And he breaks the fuck down, and basically just tells Echidna everything about what he's been through. Then it proceeds to Echidna explaining about the rabbit in episode 9, which is appropriately named Love You. So wow. Then this is when all the witches get introduced.
Yeah, so which one does he learn? Which one created the whale and the rabbit and shit?
The Witch of Gluttony, Daphne, I believe. The Witch of Gluttony, Daphne? Daphne?
Could be. I don't know.
Daphne? Yeah, she created the 3 great moor beasts. There was a serpent, a whale, and the rabbit.
So one's down. One down. I think we can assume that the resolution with the second part comes with killing the great rabbit, hopefully. Because that would make sense. That would make sense.
I'm not keen for that, having to fight. Because it was also revealed that the rabbit can duplicate itself multiple times
each individual rabbit can multiply indefinitely.
And you have to kill all of the rabbits at the same time.
In order to get rid of them, yeah. So, yeah, that'll be interesting. But, I think, aside from that being one of the more fucked up deaths, the white whale didn't really scare me. This thing, I'm terrified. Yeah, and it's even, you know what terrified me? Well, slightly less, but it still terrified me. The witch that created them. She's fucking weird as hell.
She's in that machine thing, and she's blind, and
it's like what's his face from fucking Earthbound or some shit.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it looks like that almost. It's fucking crazy, but all the seeing all the witches, and fuck. What was the first witch that appeared after Echidna left? The one that tore off his arm? And broke his body down. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It's like that little girl.
The Witch of Pride, Typhoon, who shatters his body to see if he is a sinner. And then the Witch of Wrath, Minerva, comes back and fucking...
Minerva's hot.
Yeah, she's hot.
Never mind.
She'll beat you up. And beat you off.
I'll take both, please.
And then, that was fucking weird, though, because, Typhoon,
Minerva's weird as fuck. All the witches are weird as fuck, but Minerva's, I feel like Minerva's one of the least weird, and definitely, aside from Echidna, one of the hottest.
She can fucking kick you and then heal you somehow with a kick.
Dude, I've never been more turned on in my life.
No.
What if I want a girl that can beat the shit out of me? You know?
Masochism, but with pleasure only. With pleasure maxed out.
Anyway, she's hot. That's all. Anyway,
she's pretty hot. Yeah, no, that's right. In this episode, we only get to see a few of the witches.
Yeah, we get to see the rest of them later on.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, I don't know if this is accurate. Wikipedia. I don't know if it's accurate, but it fucking be. Okay. Then I believe she makes Subaru makes a deal to not forget the conversation with the witch of the bitch.
The bitch witch.
And then it says here, However, upon waking, he is horrified to learn that, as punishment for talking about return by death, Satella possessed Amelia and killed all of his friends. She then proceeds to start devouring Subaru with her miasma, but he is saved by Garfield. So I think that's the bit where Amelia is fucking crazy wide-eyed.
Yeah.
And then she, like, goes insane, and, like, yeah, then she kisses him, and then is devoured. I remember that. Yeah, no, that was fucked. So, I didn't... Okay, Wikipedia might be inaccurate with that, but that does sound...
Something like that happens.
Yeah, so
definitely.
Satella... Because of, the similar appearance of Satella and Amelia. So, Satella... Because you see later on just how obsessed Satella is with Subaru. Mm-hmm. It would make sense that her possessing Amelia would just up that factor in Amelia's heart as well, because Amelia, like, says, oh, I need nothing but you, I only need you, I love you, and then, like, she goes on saying, I don't need anyone else, I just need you, and then eats him.
Yeah, and then Subaru is, like, hella sus. He's like, Amelia would never say that.
That's right. He walks out. No. He's able to get out because of Garfield, I think. And then he fucks off. And
that was the time he got his eye fucked. You remember when he got his eye fucked and then he came
maybe
back?
that was. Yeah, maybe that was a bit later then.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it repeats so many times it's hard to remember. But
it is. It all blends into one.
Yeah, this thing says, like, Satella possessed Amelia, killed all of his friends. She then proceeds to start devouring Subaru with her miasma, but he is saved by Garfield. Meanwhile, Roswell is being devoured by the miasma and comments Subaru will have to try harder next time. Then it goes to the episode I Know Hell, which I think this one was one of my favorites.
It's a good
because of the end conflict between Garfield and Subaru. Mm-hmm. It was like, fuck yeah, Subaru. Look at him go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Then, that's right. I think... So it does connect. So yeah, the end of last episode was Amelia being possessed, trying to devour, like, killing everyone except for Subaru and Garfield. Then, episode 10, I Know Hell, is Garfield basically using the Rizu clones to attack Satella / Amelia, who's now devoured most of the town, of the sanctuary.
Yeah.
And then it says here, she then begins driving Subaru mad with her miasma, but he escapes by committing suicide. Then that
must be the part I was thinking of.
Yeah, then he respawns, but he's a bit sus himself, but he's glad Amelia's back to normal. And then he fucks off and finds the original Rizu, who's in this giant tank shit.
Yeah, and he talks to some of the clones.
That's right. That was really weird because one of the clones just wouldn't let go of him. I was just like, this is kind of adorable, but kind of weird. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I'm a little weirded out, but it's fine.
Yeah, and she explains that the clones were created by Echidna as part of an immortality experiment. So Echidna's been doing the rounds. She's got
round,
deals
round, get
with,
around, I get around.
I get around. Yeah. So she's got deals with Rizu and Beatrice from the sounds of it. Yeah. What? What was that?
Beach Boys.
Oh.
Round, round, get around, I get around, woo! Yeah, sorry. Surf music.
That's all right.
It's a classic.
It is pretty good. She reveals that having met Echidna makes Subaru an apostle of greed, giving him command over the clones. So Subaru can control the clones, apparently. Interesting. After this, Subaru has a heart-to-heart with Amelia and convinces her to depend on him. Next morning, Subaru leaves early for the mansion by himself, but is stopped by Garfield. However, having learned from Echidna that Return by Death's lives are infinite, he isn't scared and has Garfield back off. That conflict, though.
Yes, that was very good.
Like, Garfield threatens him, and because he's not frightened, he's just like, I'm confused, and he's just like, he lets him go, like, what's your deal, you fucking asshole? And then, shit goes down. It's pretty mad.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah. And then upon reaching the mansion, Subaru quickly has Frederica and Petra take Ram and evacuate before confronting Beatrice. Oh, wait a minute. So yeah, when he first met Beatrice, he asked about the gospel. And then... Yeah, that's right. He asked about the gospel, but then not a lot else happened. I think episode 11, The Taste of Death, is when he goes back and actually talks about, like, confronts her about the gospel, and then Elsa kills them both.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this was fucked. Very, very confusing because of the amount of resets in ReZero, like, gets everything mixed up quite a lot.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
We've definitely mixed up a few scenes together, but I don't think you can blame us for that.
Nope.
It's a bit fucked. Yeah. And this is when the other reveal happens of that blue-haired girl is actually a Morbius tamer. That was fucked.
Yeah, that was messed up.
So... Yeah, Elsa arrives, Subaru takes Beatrice. That's right, he literally picks up Beatrice, and she's just like, alright, well, I'm here now. Like, and,
it's fine.
They're intercepted by Melly? I think her name is Melly. I remember her, because when, in Season 1, Subaru was rescuing all the kids from the Morbius dogs, she was the last one. She was the last girl to be saved, I think. Or was it Petra?
It was. I want to say it was Petra, but I can't remember.
It was Petra, but the blue-haired girl said, "Oh no, Petra's still out there." So it was interesting bringing her back, but yeah. It looks like Beatrice kills Elsa, which was really cool, but then she didn't. Elsa kills them back. And then here we go. Upon arrival,
no take backs.
Because
what the fuck?
What the fuck? You're dead, bitch. So then, apparently Amelia, like, this time upon resetting, no, wait, no. Everyone dies, but Beatrice uses Frederica's crystal to teleport Subaru back to the sanctuary. So... in this part of the timeline, Subaru's forced back to the sanctuary, but, like, Rem and Frederica, Petra, and Beatrice are all dead.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Isn't this where the one witch disguises herself as Rem?
I think that's a bit after.
Okay. Yeah,
that was fucked, though. I remember that as well. Although it was kind of cute as well. It was. Confusing. Yeah, that's right. So he's forced back to the sanctuary, but it's snowing. Apparently, Amelia has gone insane from repeatedly failing the trial. Mm-hmm. They meet Garfield. They deduce that this is Roswell's doing and confront him. Roswell, like, because there's an argument between Ram and Garfield, Roswell kills them both. And then
they get smashed by the fucking Grey Rabbit. The most terrifying thing on the planet.
That was sad as fuck because Garfield was literally trying to use his last of his power to heal Ram, and then Roswell fucking football kicks his head off. Yeah. Like, oh my god, that was brutal. And then Subaru standing there like, bruh.
And this is okay. There's a few cool things about the scene. This is one where Roswell's like, you don't feel any grief over their deaths. You're shocked, but you don't feel any grief. Like, you're not mourning, and that's because you can redo it. You can fix it, can't you? And that's where his suspicions are kind of confirmed. Roswell proceeds to beat the shit out of him, but then they both go out to accept their fate to the Great Rabbit. Because, at this point, we kind of realize that the snow is the signal for the Great Rabbit, that the Great Rabbit's coming, and you need to fucking get the hell out or surrender your life, damn it. And this is where we kind of start to figure out, like, it's kind of teased that, like, I guess it's called the literary technique foreshadowing, where Roswell is like, you have to pick one thing that you love and protect it at all costs, and you can't pick multiple things. And that's, again, correlates to what he says in the last episode where he's like, hey, I'm the one who sent Elsa to the fucking mansion. Like, you gotta pick one. Pick either the people at the people at the sanctuary or the people at the mansion and the village.
We can essentially boil this down to Roswell being... Like, he's that, and also he's trying to make the deciding factor in the waifu wars. He's just like, you can either save Amelia or save Rem, and it's just like, bro, like, he's fucking done it. Like, this motherfucker.
Oh my god,
that
he didn't just go there.
He went that bro.
He's the voice of Reddit. We didn't even realize.
It was Roswell all along. And also, yeah, Roswell feels he has the other tome that is similar to Beatrice's, I think.
Something like that.
He has a tome of wisdom, and that's how it kind of helps him realize that there's been time looping at foot. It also says here, the Great Rabbit attacks, kills Roswell, while Subaru survives long enough to reach Amelia and die in her arms. Did that happen?
Oh, I see. I knew I wasn't crazy. That was when we went back to the sanctuary. He got teleported, but that was when he got swallowed up by the weird fever dream. But it wasn't Amelia, because it was totally the Witch of Envy.
So this is when the Witch of Envy this is as well, like, yeah, Amelia was crazy before, but this is when, like, it's actually the Witch of Envy, and you think, and it's Amelia as well. It's really weird. It's
like one in the same at this point. And then he gets, like, swallowed up by the fever dream, and I'm pretty sure he kills himself here.
No, I think he just dies because he's bleeding out from the rabbit
something like
attack.
that. Yeah. But yeah, something like that. So. And then that's when, isn't this after this when the witch disguised as Rem comes in?
Yes, this is it. He goes to console, like, decides to talk to Echidna, but like I think he goes to attempt the second trial. Yeah, that's right. No, he goes to attempt the second trial, and then it says here, in which he faces scenarios where others react to his many deaths and causing him to break down. This fucked me up. Like, what?
Yes.
I wanted this to happen at some point where you actually get to see the aftermath of all of his previous deaths, and it was fucked. It was so good, like,
because you got to see, like, so many of them. Probably not all of them, but a lot of them, especially a lot of the big ones.
And a few, like, discussions that happened between characters afterwards as well.
Yeah,
like, it was, like, so interesting to see. And then it says here, Rem inexplicably appears before him and calms him down. However, Subaru realizes something is wrong, and it's revealed that the person before him is actually the Witch of Lust, Carmilla. Carmilla? Yeah.
Carmilla.
Who's adorable, but also weird as fuck.
Yes.
So
they're all weird as fuck.
That's right, but, like, literally, because it was something about how, like, Rem, like, disguised as Rem, she was just like, oh, you can leave everything to me. And then Subaru's just like, nah, that's fucking bullshit.
Not right.
Normally Rem picks me up and then says, keep moving forward, not leave everything to me. And it was like, oh shit, wait a minute. And then the witch was revealed, and it was fucking cool. Then this is when the giant conflict with all the witches happen. Some of them, like he is fucking mad as fuck. And He's pissed. Echidna offers a contract or something, and then half the witches say no, and then the other witches say do whatever the fuck you want, and then
I still want to fuck Minerva.
I want to fuck all the legal looking ones, and then like.
God. There was one part of it that I like, and this is kind of where we learn for realsies that Echidna is kind of fucking insane. When she offers Subaru the contract, she wants to learn everything, like I guess like experience whatever he's experiencing and learn like his decision making process and all this other shit, like because she's the Witch of Greed, she wants to learn everything, blah blah blah. That's apparently what their contract would entail, but she's so like sadistic and jaded and just like zoned in on what she wants that she doesn't understand how people feel, and it's pretty fucked
she's
up.
a sociopath. She's a sociopath.
Absolutely. Like she just does not understand how other people feel at all. And Subaru pretty quickly realizes this, like, hey, you're fucked up and I don't want nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And the rest of the witches kind of come and do their own thing. I wouldn't say they encourage him really, like maybe like half of them encourage him. But eventually
it was interesting seeing that dynamic, how some of them agreed and some of them disagreed. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, but eventually the Witch of Envy comes around, because you know she was the last one to show up, fashionably late, and she kind of, despite being the one responsible for all this crap, like she's the one who's like, hey, I love you. I mean, she's delusional, of course, like I love you, I love you, I love you, but she's telling him like he's so focused on how if only he has to suffer, then no one else around him has to suffer, so he'll take all of that burden on his shoulders just so that none of the people close to him have to suffer instead. So like he'll take an infinite, you know, it's theoretically infinite amount of suffering if it means his friends will be okay. And like he doesn't care what happens to himself. And the Witch of Envy is the one who's like, hey, I love you, like you're amazing, you should love yourself more and appreciate yourself and not put yourself through all this BS. And that
was mental.
Yeah, he kind of eventually realizes that, hey, she's actually right, like I do have value, I'm like, I shouldn't treat myself this way, like I deserve to be treated like I treat everyone else. You know, love myself first or whatever, you know, whatever all the white girls say. That's the thing. And that's a pretty big revelation for him, because I mean, up to this point, like that's pretty much what we've been seeing from him. Like he's been taking everything on his shoulders and almost going insane, up like almost driven to the point of insanity, where he's like, I have to do this, I have to like do everything in my power to make sure this turns out okay and everyone I know turns out okay, so that I can keep the timeline moving in a good way. But now we've kind of reached a point where Subaru's actually like, hey, I'm not that shitty of a person. I can do, like, I am capable. I am a human being that deserves love and all this other shit. So it's nice to see. But then, you know, that's immediately followed by Rosewall coming out and saying, hey, I hired assassins to kill you. Suck my dick.
Yeah. That was fucked. Like,
yeah.
It was... Yeah, and it was such a good revelation as well, because, like, this entire time, like, everyone knows, like, the story of the Witch of Envy and how fucking bad she is, and then, but her actually being able to, like, convince Subaru of, like, you should love yourself, like, that was so fucking, like, it was bizarre, because you're like, oh, this is meant to be like the big bad, she's meant to be the bitch that possessed him and gave him these really fucked up powers, but then you agree with her and it's like what the fuck. And yeah, it was really good. Yeah, he thanks them all, and yeah, basically then it ends with the whole thing about how, like, oh, you can't do trials anymore for some reason,
because Knuckles said so.
Because Knuckles said so. He's also regained his fear for death and doesn't want to just sacrifice him at any given opportunity. Like, he wants to try and do everything perfect the first time, so he's going to pay a bit more attention. But then he confronts Roswell, and confirming they know each other's secrets, what with Roswell having the tome and him knowing that Subaru can, like, come back. He says that he revealed he hired a Helser with the end goal of molding Subaru in his image. Subaru can either save the mansion or the sanctuary, but not both. And realizing Roswell's a bit fucked up, he fucks off. And then this is where Otto bitch slaps him and says, dude, I'm your friend. You shouldn't have to shoulder all these problems by yourself. Let a friend help. And then you gain massive respect points for Otto.
Otto becomes a Chad.
And then it ends. Then it all cuts off there. So I feel like there could have been other points in which to end it. However, ending it with like this new realization of, okay, what's the plan now? It's now down to Otto and Subaru and the dragon, who also has a crush on Subaru.
Who doesn't?
That was weird when Otto revealed that the dragon also has a crush on him.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, no, it's with what they could have done as a starting point for the second half. I feel like they've done it right, because now it's just like, all right, shit's gonna pick up. It's all or nothing now. Let's go, and we're ready to kick it in. So, but the thing that confuses me now is that because there was such a gap between, like, it was no way. So he went back, like, else he got Beatrice out after everyone in the mansion died. Then Beatrice died and sent him back to the mansion where Roswell and him got eaten by rabbits. Isn't that right?
Wait, what?
Because he went to the mansion.
Yeah.
Everyone but Beatrice. Like, then he gets everyone out and then goes to Beatrice, and then escapes with Beatrice. But then the blue-haired chick and all that reveal they killed everyone, and then they kill Beatrice.
Ripperoni.
And Beatrice sends Subaru back to the sanctuary.
Yeah.
Where Amelia's lost her shit. Then he gets devoured by Amelia / Satella. Then goes to the witch's party. Then comes back again. But, like, is everyone alive?
I don't know.
Because it was confusing where the loop is at the point. Because I think what happened is that after he completed the first trial, did he leave Amelia to continue it and then proceeded down to start the second trial? But it sent him back to the witch's party. And then after the witch's party, I don't know. I don't know. What? See, now I'm confused. Is everyone alive still?
I'm assuming yes. In this timeline, yes.
Would hope so. If not, that's a bit fucked.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think at this point, like, I don't think the assassins would have killed anyone as of, like, where he's at from episode 13 or whatever, or 38 or whatever you want to call it. I don't think anyone important has died yet.
Okay.
Not in this version of the timeline. So I think it's safe to assume that, considering he, like, kind of made that resolve to save everyone.
Yeah.
So I think it's fair to assume that.
Alright, and yeah, that was ReZero Season 2. Well, the first half of it at least. And it kept the momentum of Season 1 going really strong. There was a good few years there, but they managed to supplement us with the director's cut and the OVA and the movie, and like, was it no, it was just the OVA. No, wait, there was Frozen Bond and Memory Snow, that's right.
They were both OVAs, but one was movie length. Yeah,
that's right. And yeah, it was just so... It was good. It feels good to be back, but also you're kind of like... Because the story... It's still revolving around Subaru and everything, but now you're learning more about, like, the origin of his powers, and now you get to meet new characters and learn a lot more about Subaru and, like, in general, and you're right. Again, seeing the multiple personalities of everyone when they act different because of different situations. It's all fucking awesome to see, and it just felt good to be watching it again. That's why I was able to binge most of it.
Yeah, and you know what? I will say for me, I could not, or at least I had a hard time binging the first season. Most shows I can just kind of watch all at once, but sometimes I need, like, if I'm not, like, maybe if I'm not following it, or it's not, like, it's kind of confusing to me, it's leaving me in these weird places, I'm not, like, super sure about it, I'll, like, take breaks in between, like, I don't know if I'll be like, I'll watch it for, like, an hour or two, and I'm like, I'm not sure I can watch this anymore. But when I binged those last 8 episodes yesterday, I didn't want to stop. I was
same.
Give me all of this. And I think part of the reason for that is actually one of the, I think we kind of assumed it was a weakness, but the second season up to this point, but the same timeline happening over and over again, I think that is part of a big part of the reason why I was so, like, give me more of this, I want to know what happens. It made me really invested, just because it has this same set of issues. Like, there's like 5 or 6 potential threats, potential ways to die, and not just natural causes, like 5 or 6 outside threats in this timeline alone, and, like, in this section of the timeline. There's a lot that could go wrong, and we've seen it all go wrong at some point. And it's just really interesting. I couldn't stop myself. I was just like, I just want to keep watching this. I want to see what happens next. And I couldn't say that about the first season. I wasn't nearly as invested in this, like, because the story for me in the first season took these weird jumps from place to place. But this one, at least this first half, was, like, very focused, and I like that. It was nice. It was refreshing for me. It was because the last show I'd finished was Sword Art Online, so this was a very nice change of pace.
I'm inclined to agree because, like, season 1, great as it may be, the overarching, like, the individual arcs, none of them were really, like, there was a lot of things involved in those arcs that were awesome, but then the stories themselves weren't that interesting. Like, to me, Subaru coming in, learning about his powers, like, trying to adapt to living in the mansion and being a butler, I really liked that. But then the royal selection and the hunt of the whale, neither of those storylines I really gave a shit about. I cared about Subaru evolving as a character. I didn't care about the royal selection or the hunt for the whale. Or
him being a jackass in the middle of the royal selection, like, I don't give a fuck.
Hey, fuck faces. Which one of you cocksuckers has been shit-talking my waifu Amelia?
Fucking Giguk, what a legend.
What a legend. But, like, I didn't necessarily care about the overarching story.
For me, the transitions was what killed it. I just, because, like, it would the transitions between those different storylines was, like, it lost me. And in this one, I had even though there's a lot happening, like I said, there's, like, a bunch of different potential threats and ways for him to die, for things to go wrong. It's the same timeline, and even though it's the same, like, set of events, or, like, you know, it's the same, like, place and general sequence of events happening, it's a completely different, it's looked at from a completely different angle every time he dies and restarts. Something completely different goes wrong that you wouldn't have expected from the last time. You know, characters are explored more and more. We learn more about the sus fucker Rosewall, like, all this other shit. We could see Echidna, always a treat. Itadakimasu.
I'm gonna sip on that tea.
But yeah, it was I had a lot less to be confused about here. It was pretty much like, I mean, the thing I was most confused about was like all the fever dream shit, but that's just ReZero 101 at this point. Yeah, Subaru just has fever dreams. And we're not really sure why, but there's a, as like narrow-minded as it was, as focused as it was, there was still a lot that fucked me up. Like I said, there's not a lot of shows out there that give me this like instinctive reaction to be like, oh my fucking god, that's terrifying, like that's horrible. Like, this is fucking wild. I enjoyed this. I think as far as personal enjoyment goes, I enjoyed this way more than the first season. I don't necessarily think, from an objective standpoint, I think it is better than the first season thus far, but it's not like as much better as my opinion would make it out to be. I think it's just as well crafted, but I think it's because of the more focused nature, it's just generally more enjoyable. So like that's kind of why I personally I enjoyed this a lot more than the first season, but I don't think it's like that much better,
I feel very very similar, because the only criticism I had is that they jumped from the whole Rem's unconscious, blah blah blah, to the sanctuary fairly quick, because it took about 2 or 3 episodes, and then they jumped to the sanctuary, and then everything was based on the sanctuary.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I feel like they could have, like, maybe in the OVA even used everything involving Ram's gone in maybe the OVA or something, and then start off this season with, oh, we need to go to the sanctuary to do shit. But they spent the first few episodes building up to that. But I feel very similar, and also not only because like my criticisms with the first season being like, I don't really care about the overarching story of the whale and the selection. There was so many elements involved in this one part, even though it was the same loop happening for Subaru, where there were so many elements, like having to go back to the mansion, having to get out the sanctuary, having to talk to the witches, having to talk to Roswell, having to like help Amelia get through it all, and then there were so many layers involved with just this one. You would think just one sequence. That you're right. He has to. This is the most intense it's ever been for him, because there's so many elements at play that he can easily fuck up, and he's gone through it time and time again. It does keep you invested because you want to see what he does next, and that was kind of the hook of the first season. But then they also added a lot of other uninteresting elements in the first season, which kind of took you away from it.
Yeah.
But like, I care about everything happening in this season. I care about Beatrice and her struggles. I care about Garfield and him liking Ram even, and like that was interesting. And Roswell being a dick, and Elsa returning to kill everyone, and all the witches, even Satella, being somewhat good at heart. And like, it was all very, very, very interesting. Like, it kept me invested. So yeah, I agree. It was a lot easier to watch and digest.
It's definitely a lot easier to follow for me. Even though, like like we said, there's a lot at play here. There's a lot happening, but it just, I felt more connected with this season than I felt with the first one, like by a long shot. So, and that's just me personally, but I have a very short attention span, so that could also be a problem. But I mean, like I said, that's like I said, personally, this is definitely a step up. But it's ReZero. Like, of course it's fucking good. Are you kidding me?
No, it was epic. I was very happy with it. I'm very intrigued to see where it goes from here, and like, I'm really happy with the way they've built up characters and shown different sides of all the characters, like, and as well how the witches are aware of the time loops as well. That's also an intriguing factor.
Yeah.
So they get to see what Subaru's going through, and he has someone he can actually tell. Like, him breaking down, actually being able to explain the return by death thing, like, that hit home. Like, it was just like, finally, he is not alone, and he can tell someone about all this shit.
Yeah.
Despite Satella being a bitch just after he did all that, but disregarding that. Yeah, I think that about wraps up the discussion for Season 2, Part 1.
Yeah, I don't really have much else to say about that.
No, my throat is dry as fuck, and my water is on the other side of the room.
Fuck.
So, yeah, there we go. We'll be back to reviews Part 2 next year when it airs.
When it finishes airing.
When it finishes airing, I'm very much looking forward to it, and I don't get to say that. I don't get to say that a lot about anime nowadays. So yes, it'll be very good.
Fuck yes, I am very excited because I think as far as like, you know, was for the first part. Like, I think it was, whether it was because of COVID or not, splitting it up into 2 parts like this was kind of genius, because this first part was done perfectly. Like, it's basically set up every single thing, every single potential threat, every element of this loop, every single thing Subaru has to do correctly. He now has the resolve to do it. He now has a friend to help him, but now we have to wait, and we'll get the resolution in the second part. I think that was perfect. So, whether, like I said, whether it's because of COVID or not, this is great. Like, just leaving us in suspense like this and just setting everything up and giving us all the information we need to get the resolution in the next 12 episodes. Mwah. Yeah, beautiful. So, there you go.
Very excited. Very excited.
Yeah. I'm very excited to see what happens in January. And I'm just ready for 2020 to be over. So, there you go.
Definitely.
So, yeah,
right,
we will see you. I forgot I was doing the outro for a second. Anyway, so we'll be back next week to do a random as fuck episode, because it'll be episode 40. So,
yeah.
So we'll just have a chat. We'll probably talk about dicks or something. It'll be good. It'll be good. It'll be good. So we'll be back next week, and then the week after that, we're going to be reviewing Ninja Sex Party's new album, The Prophecy. And the week after that, we'll be doing Nate Wants to Battle's new album, What You Want. So, we've got 2 album reviews coming for you in the next few weeks, as well as the Random as Fuck episode. So, look forward to that.
As well as the highlight reel will be coming out at some point on a weekend.
Yeah, and so, I'm very excited to hear those 2 albums. So,
same.
That'll be fun. So, look forward to that. If you have any questions or suggestions for us, you can leave them in the comments. If you want us to talk about something or review your favorite anime. If you want us to review Interspecies Reviewers, already done that.
Already done that. Been there, done that.
It
was cleverly disguised as a My Hero Academia review.
And you can like I said, you can leave them in the comments, or you can email them to us at firestormproductions2@gmail.com. No caps, no spaces, and the number 2. And if you want some epic dick jokes, epic TM dick jokes, as well as some memes and shit and updates on our stuff, you can follow us on Twitter at FireStormPod. And you can also find our individual Twitters linked there. And yeah, thank you all for listening. And we'll see you guys next week, where we'll talk about dicks. Goodbye.
Get ready for penis discussion time.
In depth.
We talk about penises.
In-depth penis discussion time. Penis therapy.
Penis therapy.
I call it penis therapy because if you need to unwind a bit, listen to an hour and a half of 2 young gentlemen talking about dicks. You're welcome.
Episode 40 will hereby be named Penis Therapy.
Penis Therapy. Also known as Vitamin P. Babes, my DMs are open. You're welcome.
I'm
Goodbye.
getting a lot of vitamin D. Getting a lot of vitamin D.
From the sun and also my penis.
Woo!
Vitamin P.
Damn.
That stands for penis. That's a Ninja Sex Party song. How topical.
I'm gonna stop talking.
I'm not.
Penis.
I would yell penis, but it's 1:30 in the morning.